this past All-Star
what he was
weekend,
saying
I was
was
asked
like-
a few questions. A few of my peers were asked questions like, what do you think about a one-on-one tournament in the NBA? Let me tell you about a one-on-one tournament in NBA before we get back to Moon and Nesco. A one-on-one tournament in the NBA is not going to happen the way y'all want it to because there's a certain level of political slash professional stuff that happens in between, right? Say I go against somebody else, right? In the NBA, it could be Dame, Steph, it could be Darius Garland, it could be Donovan, it could be anybody, right? In the NBA, like it could be any point guard, right? That I match up with. A lot of guys, and it's not me, but a lot of guys don't want to be in front of the camera playing one-on-one. A lot of our one-on-ones when we're working out, especially when you're a professional NBA or you're an NBA player or you're a professional player, you do that in the sacredness of a private gym. You rarely play one-on-one for the cameras. Right, because one-on-one is meant to be a sacred act. That's how we describe it as pros, right? Since I was a kid, one-on-one has been a sacred act.
He
because
right,
you
though.
literally are going against somebody by yourself. It's the hardest thing to do is to play defense and have offense. So when you're watching these guys play on one-on-one, they're in great shape. A lot of guys are not in great shape, so you see the mistakes happen. But the one-on-one in the NBA version, a lot of guys will be in shape, but the quality of play will be based off of how hard we're going. You know, and to be honest with you, a lot of guys are afraid to get embarrassed. A lot of guys are afraid to get crossed. A lot of guys are afraid to get dunked on. And a lot of guys are not afraid, in which I think opens up the door for not just All-Star Weekend to be about the All-Stars playing one-on-one, but you should open that up for anybody to compete. And that should be the final, kind of stage where everybody plays. Like, I think every team competitively should do one-on-one tournaments, and then you should get a player from each position, right? You get the best players from each position to play one-on-one against their matchup. You got 5 one-on-one players, 5 of your best one-on-one players, then they go and play against the other 29,
That's what I was saying.
other teams and their guys in positions, and then you spar. This is sparring. One-on-one is called sparring in the NBA. We don't play professional one-on-one, you know what I mean, for money. We play team sports to win championships. That's what a lot of us do it for. But one-on-one exposes people.
Yeah. I love what he's saying. I think that boy's spot on. I think he's super spot on with that. I mean, I think that, yeah, it's hard to say anything else except like, bro, if you're really trying to start that league, Kai, we could really start that joint. I think it'd be something incredibly huge for the culture and for basketball as a whole, because I think the kids want to play ones. Mm-hmm. And if we did a league that opens it up, that guys who, may feel like, 5-on-5 isn't my thing, but I still got a chance to make it to the one-on-one league. Mm-hmm. I think that'll be huge for guys, and it'll open up even more opportunity for the game of basketball. As far as playing the ones within the league, I think he's right. I think there's some guys who wouldn't mind. And I think there's some guys who would probably try to stay away from it because, guys are consumed by the everyday narrative of that is pushed for their, for their image and their likeness. So, like you said, guys wouldn't want to get embarrassed. Guys wouldn't want to be seen as someone who get crossed or dunked on and playing ones. But, if we could get it to the point where, I think money solves everything. So if they get a good enough reward, or it's structured right, I think guys might actually want to be involved. And I also think if we don't do it at All-Star break, I think guys would play harder. I think if we waited until either after the season's over and do an All-Star weekend and have that one-on-one tournament there, I think that guys would play harder because they know, like, oh, I have 3 months left. I mean, 4 months before the season starts. Mm-hmm. So I gotta, I can play hard right here, and then I'm gonna take a break and then get back into my summer routine, et cetera. But I think it's a huge idea. It's a huge space right now. I think that playing ones is the next evolution of our game. As crazy as that sounds, I think that we've pretty much done as much as we could with the 5-on-5 aspect. I don't see us expanding anywhere past Curry range. So. Mm-hmm. Unless we implement
the
4-pointer, but
right.
I don't see us
pointer making the court
right
bigger, making a lot,
But as far as like back, fan interaction,
right,
and interaction as a whole globally in the sport, I don't see who wouldn't want to play, who wouldn't want to be involved.
Ones
in
could
that.
be a situation like where there was a league, like, it could be something where like some of those guys that play in those leagues in the summer, like the Drew League
Exactly.
and those pro-ams, like the MVPs of those leagues are normally those guys that are like really good
playing
one-on-one,
ones.
but team sport.
Yeah.
But they could, nowadays the way social media is and the way that we communicate, they could be their own little star.
Yeah,
Like they could
that's
be.
what I'm saying. Yeah, you could, because you could make the league cater to more than just professional athletes. It could cater to kids as well. You could have a league for kids. You could have a league for high school kids. You could have a league for college kids, and then you could have a league for the pros. All ones. Each team has 5 players that play ones, and then you have however many teams in the league, and they have 5 players on each team that play ones. And you schedule it out, and they have seasons, and they have everything, playoffs, all that, the same ordeal, but just ones. And every person on the team has a chance to play one-on-one with everyone in the entire league at some point. You know what I mean? And then you figure out what y'all going to, how many dribbles, how many spots, etc. And I feel like people would watch it at a high level. And the fact that the engagement is more than just professionals. Like there's professional athletes, there's college athletes, there's high school athletes, there's little kids. Like I think that makes it even more impressive. And with NIL, I mean, the littlest kid could make money playing basketball. Even though later on in life they might not end up being hoopers, they still made a little something from their dream. So I don't know who's out there and find interest in that, but boy, that would be something that we would be interested in for sure. Kai, if you're interested in that, shout out to Kyrie Irving, man. Heal up, boy. We praying for you. All that whole shebang, you know what's up. But man, I think it would be a huge movement for sure.